Okay, guys, I just had to redo this video because I was ranting way too much. I had to get some anger out here. Okay, the videos I've been doing, I've had a lot of people say, oh, they like them, they've helped them. But I've also had quite a few people that I used to go to church with, I've noticed are not my friends anymore on Facebook. Okay, I really would like to clear something up. I was not bashing any kind of religion. I was not saying that I've never felt God in church. I was simply saying that not every spirit that I felt was. I had episodes. You know what? People may not believe in mental disorders. I don't care. That's up to whoever. I know what I know. And it's like, because you saw me on Sunday or because you saw me in a certain way at church doesn't mean you know anything about what was going on in my real life. You didn't. Because people do not want, especially when they feel like it's something they're doing, to cause these things, and you pray and you tell me that I need to pray more. That's what I was told. No one knew how much I was praying. I prayed all the time. I prayed at home. The things I know that weren't of God, I know. I know because of the things that happened. The real, I mean, I was talking to a friend of my son's. He's not, been around that kind of church much, but he's been there to the services. And he said, when I go in a church like that, I feel a really good thing. It's like a really good spirit, but then there's this other thing I feel. I said, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like an opposing, it's like an oppressive thing. And he was like, yeah. I said, that's because there's always the real spirit of God, and then there's always what's not real or the opposing, And you have to learn which is what. And sometimes when a person's mentally off balance, they don't. They think what they're feeling, they think a manic episode is, you get these grandiose ideas about God's going to use me to do this great work, Don't, it's manic. When you're manic, that happens. And it's very common for people to have religious experiences. You know what? I was able to hide my illness in the religion I was in because I was able to express my emotions however I wanted to. And it helped me, it did, but I don't believe in the judgment. I don't believe that every little thing I do is, I don't believe the same way. And I can't say I do when I don't, when it's not in my heart, when I'm doing it just because I'm told that's what I got to do. And it's really not there, and it's really like I can't even tell my kids that without feeling some kind of, it's not right. I know there's good things, but I also know that, a man cannot judge whether a person is going, where a person is going when they die. I don't see, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. I feel like I used to be that way. And when I came out of it and looked back into how I was, I hated the way I was. I judged people way too harshly. And things that I said I'd never do, I did worse. Because you're never so high up here that you can't fall. You're never. And never think that, because you can. And it can be worse than what you thought you saw someone else do. And it's like, I don't judge people anymore. You can't say, I've literally heard people say, I can tell by the way that person looks. They're this way or that way. I've been told I have a horrible spirit. Oh, stay away from these people because that spirit could get on you. People need to be educated instead of judged. I'm sorry, it's just, I was told, oh, you can't come in here one day on the top of the mountain and the next week you're down there about to act like you're gonna lose your best friend. Well, you know what? That was my brother-in-law, and he won't be watching this video, and I don't care if he does. He should have known that I had a problem then, right? because when my moods were so all over the place, but he told me, oh no, you don't need to take that kind of medication. You just need to pray. And you have no idea how much I'm already praying. That's, my psychiatrist said, you know what, that could be the devil in your ear, but we have medication that can help. And you don't have to feel like you have to pray 1,200 times a day or live this perfect life, because you're never going to get there. I'm sorry, whether you believe in God or you don't, nobody's perfect, and nobody can live that way. Nobody is going to live to where they're made to feel guilty about everything they do, pretty much. So it's I have peace in my brain that I haven't had. I feel like I'm helping people. If my videos offended you and you defriended me, sorry, you guys haven't been talking to me in forever anyway, because I'm not somebody you want to hang out with anymore. And people that I thought were my friends since I was a kid are not, because Christians, you're supposed to, who did Jesus hang out with? If I'm that bad, then y'all ought to be hanging around me a whole lot, shouldn't you? Sorry, I'm just saying how I feel. I was talked to so bluntly, but that's the only way I know to talk. It's like, I'm not going to tell you I believe in something if I don't. I don't believe how I cut my hair or what I wear if I don't dress how you think I need to dress. That's not going to control my mind anymore. That's not going to make me feel like every day I have to battle this because I'm this horrible person, because I'm not. I'm not perfect. And I'm definitely not the worst person in the world either. And if you think I am, you really just don't know me that well. I'm a good person, and I don't ever have bad, evil intentions. Things happen, and it's like, I know people, you know, that knew me, and they knew the person I was married to, and they thought we were a certain way. But I know that people that really knew us, knew the real us, that we weren't as happy as what we should have been. We really weren't. It was like, it was destined. That way from the very start, it just started going this way. We were just two totally opposite personalities. We had kids that had problems. We were only told we need to pray more. We weren't offered anything else. No, we didn't make it. Not with the problems I had, the problems the kids had, the problems he had. There was no way. We were offered counseling when it was too late. Counseling from a professional counselor, and that was only whenever I was over the deep end. So don't judge. Don't judge, please. Because when you say this person is this way, or I'll never do that, God, that's terrible, and you're gonna probably have to eat your words one day, because I know I have. You know, I'm humble. I don't judge people. I have a lot more compassion. But I'm also not gonna let you push me around either. If you don't like me, then that's fine. You don't have to. You can defriend me. That's not gonna hurt my feelings. It's not like I was talking to anybody anyway, or anyone cared. If they did, you know, it's like, whatever. I'm just calling it like I see it. You know, I haven't noticed anybody banging my door down to try to get me to come back to church. I'm not going to anyway. No, not that one that I was going to. You know, I might go to a church someday, but it won't be one that controls everything I do or say or feel or whatever. I'm sorry. I don't think it's about control, and I think that's what, you know, maybe I'm being whatever. You know, I'm rebellious because I'm saying how I feel. Well, how come somebody's allowed to say what they feel about somebody that I love without even consulting them? They take a rumor and they go and ruin their life because they tell something that they don't even know is true, if that they really did it or not. They took it by what someone else said. I've seen that happen, but it's okay, because, you know, no, it's not okay. And it's not okay to make someone feel afraid to die. Scare tactics don't work. They make people resentful and bitter. a lot of the times. Or if they're just there because they're afraid, it's not going to last. The scare tactics should have went out years ago. That traumatizes kids. It traumatized. My kid had nightmares about some of the sermons he heard. He thought vampires were getting in the house. It's like the things that he heard really did cause him stress. When you tell a child that's 4 or 5 years old they're going to burn in hell, and burn in hell for eternity for certain things that we were told, you don't think that causes post-traumatic stress disorder? It does. It affects the child. I've seen it firsthand, okay? And I don't agree with it. Sorry, I'm different. And sorry, I didn't always agree with everything you said back then. I did it because I wanted to be accepted, and I felt like I was doing something, and I always felt like God had a purpose. I still feel like God has a purpose. It may not be exactly what I thought, but he brought me through some horrible experiences and made me stronger, and that's how come I know that he's answered prayers for me, and that he hasn't left me no matter what you might think or people that knew me before might think. Because I don't dress a certain way anymore or because I don't go to your church does not mean that God's not still in my heart. You don't know crap about my life. Really, you don't. You don't pretend to, or you don't try to. Anytime something different comes along that's not exactly the way you think, then you just, run away. I've seen it. I won't be going back. Not to people who have no compassion for someone they've known this many years. They spread rumors about you. Well, they may not be rumors, they may be true, but they're your life and you're living this hell, and they're talking about it like you're some kind of, sorry. I'm just calling it the way I see it. I will not let that happen to me again. I will go, and I have felt churches that I have been in where there's such a loving spirit. Why is bad? What is wrong with that? That's the way it's supposed to be. You don't supposed to feel this good god-awful people looking at you like, you know? That's not the right. Learn to pray for yourself. Learn to read for yourself. Don't just take what someone else says and run with it, because it could be wrong. And I don't think anybody knows for sure until they get to there, right? Who knows what's really down? My grandmother's been in church, going to church since, good grief, I don't even know, she's 95, and probably since she was 20. And she's like, nobody knows until they actually get there. You can't say, you can't tell somebody what is really going to happen until you're there yourself. Even she says that. God has really used that woman. She's still around because God knows we still need her prayers. And you know what? Sorry if this seems negative, but you know, people did unfriend me, a bunch of church people. I've noticed that. People I've been friends with. Sorry if I offended you. I'm just, you know, sorry that you didn't know me. Maybe you should have tried a little harder. Maybe you should have looked a little deeper. I don't know. But I'm not lying, and I'm not sitting here trying to get attention. This is the last thing in the world I'd want. It just frustrates me. But I just felt like doing that. I feel like people need, you know, that's another reason why people don't try to get help, because it's you know, it's a sin. It's a sin to think about death or want to kill yourself or whatever. It's not a sin. Oh, jeez. Those thoughts come into everybody's head, I'm sure, at least once in their lifetime. Why am I here? But when you have a brain that's constantly working against you, you could not possibly understand it unless you've been there. You could not possibly understand drug addiction. You couldn't understand a lot of things if you haven't lived it. You can't. You can judge people all you want, but you don't know how they feel. So don't pretend you do. Good night.